Hey, it's Jeremy from jeremy.net. So, this video is a combination of two different segments. One is me working on the last page of issue 7 of my comic Morningstar, and the other half of the video is some figure drawing work. So, in the comic page here, this is a scene of Lucifer leading a horde of rebel angels, demons, and angel-demon hybrids in his final plans to invade and conquer heaven. So it's, kind of the setup, the penultimate, moment to the climax. This is the beginning of the end right here. And I was definitely pushing myself. I think, one of just the fact of the number of figures that are in this page and trying to work out how to mask them all, I was really trying to push myself and take kind of inspiration from the old masters. When you look at stuff like Michelangelo and the Last Judgment, or any of the old masters, like they do all these beautiful paintings where they've got like 10, 20, 30 figures all intertwined and storytelling and interacting with each other, and the lighting is beautiful, and the figures are all massed together in logical order. And I look at all of that and I want to scream because I feel like I'm nuts for even trying this. But some might say I'm nuts for even trying to do a comic, considering how much work there is that goes into it. And it is, to some degree, that frustration of reaching for something that's far beyond my grasp. That's kind of the thing that keeps me interested in art in the first place. I mean, I can look at this in every single figure. I can look at things and I'm like, oh, I should have changed this angle, or I should have made this form or this volume clearer, or I should have better made the silhouette of this entire group read, or this figure gets lost in the silhouette of all the figures around them. I mean, you can see every once in a while I'm going around and I'm flipping the red side back over so I can look at it and compare what I was doing beforehand. So it's definitely challenging and ambitious. But, if you don't want to do challenging stuff, why art should be challenging and should be forcing you to grow. So onto the figure drawings. Now, these are just a bunch of drawings from the most recent time I took Carl Ganass's heads, hands, and feet class. And in that class, unless you're a master draftsman, which I am not, you draw a lot of ugly heads. A lot of them that are just out of proportion and misshapen. The features are off. And that's, the whole point of the class is to practice these things, to make yourself more aware of them. And this is something that I try to do at least once a month, or I should be doing it even more often than that. But I just go through my drawings from, the previous month's worth of figure drawings. And you've seen plenty of videos of these where I go through, if you've been watching my channel at all for any length of time, usually once a month or every other month, I'll have a video where I'm just redrawing, drawings from my class. And even right now, I'm redrawing the drawing that's on the upper leftmost corner. And in that one, I'm looking at it and I can see how, even though I've added hair and kind of rounded out the skull and filled it out, prior to that, before I added the hair, I was just looking at it being like, the head is too short. Like I was trying to overcompensate for the fact that in the upper left-hand corner, it feels like there's too much cranium. And I went kind of the other direction and overcorrected in the bottom. There's too little. And a lot of these studies are really just me trying to work on getting a better sense of proportion and volume, and a lot of correcting and then overcorrecting and then miscorrecting and then coming back. Like on this one, I feel like I kind of pushed the features back into proportion compared to the one that's in the center top. The head is a little bit too long and too shallow. So I do feel like I pushed the proportions of the face closer to where they should be. Although even with this, I still feel like her actual facial features are too large for that head. And part of this is just doing these kind of things over and over again, the repetition of it, and just doing it wrong, seeing the mistakes. Like this one that I'm looking at now, obviously the one to the left of it is the one I'm redrawing. And while the head, the proportion is better and the shape of the skull is better, the far eye, the eye that's on the left, is actually sticking out too much. You know, the one on the one that I'm copying from, if you see that one, while that one is very misshapen, at least the eye is a little bit more recessed and hidden by the nose, the way it should be. And the eye to the right should be a little bit further away from the nose. It's just a little bit right on top of it. And now going over here, this is an angle that I continually practicing and revisiting and reworking. You know, that underside of the jaw is challenging. So I probably, I went a bit heavier with the shadows here, but to really give that sense of an underside versus a side that's catching light. And, I think that shadow that I've got in there is really what made the difference. It wasn't necessarily that the volumes were wrong on the one that I'm copying from, more that I didn't really indicate that transition. Like I didn't get enough tone in there to really show the head turning away as opposed to look at the underside. And I can look at each of these. These are probably like heads that were drawn in 5 minutes. And for each one of them, I can see why I picked this sheet to redraw from, because all of them have like eyes that are too close together, too far apart, taking up too much of the head. I mean, even this one that I'm doing there at the bottom just feels like that head is a little bit squished in comparison to the rest. So, I mean, for all of these, and this one right here, when I started sketching this in, I actually cringed. I was looking at the video before I sat down to actually record the audio, and that just subtle turn from being a direct head-on shot to it being turned slightly to the right, even though it's an under, we're looking from below, the head is just slightly turned from being dead on. The challenge is getting that to feel like it's in perspective, as opposed to it just feeling like the nose is just broken and pushed over to the side. And I feel like I kind of fixed it up a little bit there, but a lot of this really is just reinforcing basic perspective drawing, because all of these features that are built into the head are just basic primitive geometries that are sitting on top of this egg-like form that makes up the overall shape of the head. So, just working on those basics and then working on the proportion of them, the struggle never seems to end for me. It's like every time, like even now, like doing these, I look at this and I say, wow, I need to do this like every day, not just once or twice a month. Thanks for watching. If you enjoy these videos and you'd like to support this channel, go to patreon.com/Jeremy. That's patreon.com/GERIMI. For as little as $2 a month, you can get a bonus monthly live stream and tons of additional behind-the-scenes artwork and blog posts. If you'd like to read some of my comic books for free, you can go to news.jeremy.net. Or if you'd like to purchase physical copies of my comics, you can go to amazon.jeremy.net. And again, Jeremy is spelled GERIMI. That's it for now. Go be creative.